Hey everyone, Rob here, and I got some updates on what's going on in Iceland on the eruption. Now, the eruption turbulence and activity has decreased significantly since yesterday, as we saw in the last two eruptions as well. They died out pretty quick. It just started to decrease in power from around noon, and we're seeing some sort of jets of lava, but not as many now as we saw yesterday. Temporary increases in the activity were seen last night, but at the same time, the activity in all of this area increased as well. Now, the past few hours, no magma has actually been seen on the webcams, but it can't be ruled out that there is no activity inside the craters themselves. Waveform images from around 3 p.m. yesterday showed that the land in Svartsengi, northwest of Thorbjörn, is at most about 10 centimeters thick when magma ran from there into the Sundhnúks crater series. Model calculations based on this data shows that this corresponds to about 10 million cubic meters flowing from the magma collection area under Svartsengi, where magma flowed from there and then erupted into the Sundhnúks crater series. So over the past 24 hours, there have been minor seismic activity in the area of the eruption. If we take a look at that, we can see that it's not a huge amount. You can see on the graphs here what has been going on, but nothing huge. We can see on the graph on the bottom, we can see when the eruption started, a very big cluster of earthquakes and seismic activity, and then it sort of mellowed out since then. About 40 earthquakes have been recorded, and all are around or below a magnitude of 1. Now, estimates of the volume of lava that flowed from the time the eruption began at 6:02 a.m. until 1 p.m. on February 8th is about 15 million cubic meters, which means that the average magma flow during the first 7 hours of the eruption was about 600 cubic meters per second. Now, although the eruption has decreased significantly, it's still too early to say that it's ending, and this is all coming from the Meteorological Office, which continues to monitor the area very closely, and they're going to be having a new hazard assessment map today in the evening. This is one that they have presented, the most recent one. We can see here the purple is the most dangerous area. We have grindavik below that, and then we have the orange least dangerous, and that's because the eruption occurred in this purple area. We have the eruption number 1, which we can see here towards the top. We have the second one from January towards the bottom here. This one here, the 15th of January. And then we have the fissure that opened up inside of Grindavik. And then we have the new one, which is this red line. Again, 8th of February. And we can also see the lava that flowed from there down towards Svartsengi and the Blue Lagoon, destroying the road that connects to the Blue Lagoon. We also see the fortifications around there. The lava has not touched the fortifications yet. But these lines, these red lines here that we're seeing with these dots, these are the hot water lines that go into the towns from the power plant, the geothermal plant here in Svartsengi. This is the reason why the hot water has basically been destroyed for the Reykjanes Peninsula, which includes Keflavik Airport, town of Keflavik, Njarðvík, Garður, all of these towns that are in that area. They're without hot water. And that's because of that. Again, we see a different view of it here. We have the Blue Lagoon in the bottom left, and then we can see all of the lava over the recent eruptions that have occurred. But here we have Keflavik Airport, and the headline is, of course, no cold water is going to Keflavik Airport. We talk a lot about this hot water coming out of the power plant, but because the towns are trying hard to fix one problem, another problem, of course, sort of Murphy's Law. If anything bad can happen, it will happen. So now there's no cold water to Keflavik Airport. There's no hot water in Keflavik Airport. It's really not the best scenario for an airport. They have portable electric heaters that they're strategically placing. They have closed some bathrooms because, of course, they need to preserve all of that. But it was all the result of a major leak that occurred in the main pipe of the cold water area. And as a result, there's no cold water in Keflavik Airport. There is a supply that they have, but even though they have a sort of emergency supplies, it's not enough to keep it going. So work is underway to repair this and it's hoping that the cold water will be restored soon. But the hot water, it's still something that that people are really working hard to do and try to fix, because yeah, everyone in the towns around, they cannot heat their homes or have showers and all that stuff. So it's definitely a dire situation for them. But back to the eruption, we're already not even saying that this first one is done, and there's clear signs that there's preparation from nature to start the next eruption. The land in Svartsengi, it seems like the land rise is continuing again. And this is all coming from geophysicist Benedict O. Ferguson, expert in deformation measurements at the Icelandic Meteorological Office. Now, he says they saw clear signs of activity and land changes in Svartsengi along with, the eruption. And whether it's starting to rise again, it's a little bit too early to say, but he thinks it's very likely. Previous eruptions have not stopped this land rise. It just keeps going and going. And so he says a similar time, it's about 3 weeks from December 18 to January 14, and then just a couple weeks, the one that began on February. So it's, it's sort of this 3-week interval, December 18, January 14, February 8th. And so they asked him, they said, is it possible to predict another eruption in 3 weeks' time from now? And he says, let's see what the speed of the land rise is. And the best indicator is also the volume estimate, which gives an idea of where things are at. But it's something that's now we're seeing a pattern coming up. Every 3 weeks, an eruption. So if you're planning a trip to Iceland, maybe that's something to keep in mind if you want to see an active volcano. So that's it for now. That's all the updates. I will keep you up to date as things progress. Until next time, thanks so much.